which are very poignant, and we can read them again and again to be able to feel her mood in that particular situation. So by stating her position and displaying her mind, what she thought about the situation, being also, we could say, offended herself by the fact that her father is offensive towards her husband, Sati felt that the best thing she could do is to sit north, facing north, into deep meditation and to pull her life air from the chakras from the bottom, raising the life air to the top, and gradually her body burst into flames, which led to Sati's leaving her body. She actually said in that speech, "I am ashamed that I have taken birth, and I am called Dakshayani. I have taken birth in a body given by you." That kind of disgust she felt from her father's behavior. So leaving her body, immediately the news were brought to Shivaji, and Lord Shiva became furious. He plucked a hair, a single hair from his head, and threw it on the ground, and then immediately some great personality appeared, who was ready to follow Lord Shiva's orders. So Lord Shiva ordered for Daksha to be killed, actually. And all the servants of Lord Shiva immediately went to the place of the sacrifice. Initially, Sati had also gone with a lot of yakshas and different servants of Lord Shiva on a beautiful palanquin, but they were not able to defend her. In fact, some demigods appeared on the scene, and when the yakshas rebelled initially, the demigods defeated them. Because they were servants of Brigu. Brigu was performing the yagya, and yeah, the demigods are his disciples, so they had to defend the situation. But when everything went so bad, there was no return, a point of no return. And when Lord Shiva's closest servants appeared on the scene, a battle started, and that battle finished with the beheading, actually, of Daksha. Such a tragic story, but in that story there is so much lessons to be learned. So in these few verses that we read, we are hearing how the Lord Narayan and Lord Brahma didn't go to this sacrifice because they knew what is going to happen. So I'll read again the verse. All the priests and other members of the sacrificial assembly and all the demigods, having been defeated by the soldiers of Lord Shiva and injured by weapons like tridents and swords, approached Lord Brahma with great fear. After offering him obeisances, they began to speak in detail of all the events which have taken place. So the demigods, they ran for shelter to Lord Brahma and explained to him the situation. So in the purport to the third verse, Srila Prabhupada takes a very important point, which is the point that the Lord knows everything that has happened in the past and is going to happen in the future. And Prabhupada quoted Bhagavad Gita, and then he says, Lord Vishnu is omniscient, and he therefore knew what would happen at Daksha's sacrificial arena. For this reason, neither Narayana nor Lord Brahma attended the great sacrifice performed by Daksha. So the Lord is explained that he is omniscient. In Sanskrit, we can use the term Trikalagya, although this Trikalagya is related only to the material world, because only the time has influence, Kala has influence only in the material world, not in the spiritual world. So, of course, the Lord knows everything in the spiritual world as well, although in the spiritual world, everything is based in permanence, because all the activities of the residents of the spiritual world are based on love, and love was in the past, love is now in the present, and love will be in the future. There is nothing else except love. Therefore, this is the permanent state. Well, in the material world, we have sometimes love, we have sometimes hate, sometimes love and hate. We have impermanence and changing situations. Therefore, there is varieties of hate experiences and varieties of love experiences in the material world. Therefore, we could say that the past, present, and future is always different, and very much from the point of the view of the living entities like ourselves is quite unpredictable. But from the position of the Lord, which is the supreme position, the Lord knows everything. Firstly, because he remembers everything. Krishna has the absolute capacity to remember. Krishna never forgets. Sometimes when people say such and such person has become God, we can just laugh at this comment, because the simplest thing this person certainly forgets is forgotten and will be forgotten. So it's a joke when someone says that someone is God or we can become God. It's impossible, because the living entities are always forgetting. And even the pure devotees, sometimes if the Lord makes them to forget, they will forget. So the Lord is the final authority, is the topmost autocrat, who is Swarat. He is absolutely independent from the influences of anyone or anything. including time and space. The Lord is in control of time and space. They are His own energies, subservient to His will. So therefore, the Lord can appear at any moment, anywhere, wherever He wants, in a split of a second, like we say in this world. And yeah, He is beyond the institution of time and space. So Krishna, he could see, Lord Vishnu in this case, who is the Purusha avatar of the Lord in this world, he could see. He knew the past, he knew the present, and he knows the future. So Lord Vishnu knew the mentality of Daksha, Prajapati Daksha, and he knew that this person with such a mentality, not inviting Lord Shiva, is definitely going to cause a commotion, and that will not be a pleasant event to participate in. It will not be beneficial event to participate in. So Lord Brahma also, from his higher perspective, he could see, but mostly Lord Narayan actually is the topmost observer of every activity. So devotees, like I said, also can be Trikalagya sometimes when the Lila of the Lord allows. But when the Lila of the Lord doesn't allow, even devotees forget. For example, when they were on the battlefield at Kurukshetra, Krishna and Arjuna, and Arjuna asked Krishna, "My Lord, how can you say that you spoke this Bhagavad Gita to Vivasvan? Vivasvan is much older than you. How is that possible?" So what was the answer of Krishna? Krishna told him, "My dear Arjuna, me and you, we have appeared many births together. I remember them all, but you don't remember them." So here is an instance where a devotee can forget. So that was for the purpose of Arjuna's forgetfulness was caused by Krishna, so that Arjuna inspires Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita for the benefit of the living entities in this material world. So devotees can also be Trikalagya. They can see things, but they can also forget certain things that have happened in the past. So a devotee can see the mentality of someone, like Lord Brahma. In the case of Lord Brahma, he could see the mentality of Daksha, and he knew what that mentality can cause in the future. So this is here the topic that was explained. That's why Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma didn't go there. And also they wanted the events to unfold, this Lila to unfold, so that we can learn something from this Lila. We can be taught some very serious lessons about the behavior of spiritualists, the proper behavior of spiritualists, which leads us to the next topic, which is the topic of offenses to great personalities, but also offenses to common personalities. A devotee is gentle. Devotees never offend anyone. In fact, in English, we can see there is this word gentleman, you know. So gentleman is a word that should be given to a conscious person who is definitely a devotee. He is the perfect example of gentleman. And of course, gentle lady. Um, anyone outside of the devotional consciousness will not behave as gentleman or gentle lady in one or another situation because their consciousness doesn't allow them to behave in such a way. Non-devotees are materialistic, therefore they have personal interests that sometimes are not in line with the universal law. And to get what they want, sometimes they will transgress universal law and will hurt other living entities for their own satisfaction. For example, killing animals for food is a very poignant example how people can be so crude and cruel that they can kill another living being that is visibly protesting to be killed, and they still kill it and they eat it. That is called ignorance. Tamagun is a very, very low level of consciousness. But you can see how much degradation is there into your world, that despite the fact that people are doing such nonsense, like killing animals, they will call themselves gentlemen and gentlemen. This is even greater ignorance, that you give we identify, if someone is a native, for example, he identifies himself with the word gentleman. He should be ashamed rather of himself than think that he's a gentleman. So offensive attitude doesn't exist in the spiritual world, where everything there is bhakti, is devotion to the Lord, prema bhakti, Krishna prema bhakti. There is only, especially in Vrindavan, there is sweetness, madhurya, and even when there is different dynamics of apparent contradictions and apparent conflicts that may occur in Vrindavan, they're absolutely inoffensive, and everyone is acting simply in a way to spread excitement, the aspect of love, which is excitement. Love cannot be dull. So for love to be ever fresh has to be very exciting and surprising. And sometimes there is such a conflicting moods, apparent conflicting moods in the spiritual world, just to give an extra spice in the relationships of the devotees in the spiritual world with the Lord. Like the example of Jatila and Kutila, they're always opposing the relationship of Radha and Krishna. But their opposition is an expression of love, because by opposing the relationship of Radha and Krishna, Jatila and Kutila actually increasing the excitement and the freshness uh, of the experience of Ujjvala Rasa between Srimati Radhika and Shri Krishna. So, in the spiritual world, everything is perfect. And even if something appears to be offensive, it's still perfect, because an offensive person cannot really exist in the spiritual world. An offensive person cannot exist in the spiritual world. That is not possible. Therefore, whatever happens there is based on bhakti, is based on devotion. So Jatila and Kutila, Abhimanyu, they're completely surrendered to their particular role that was given to them. And they execute that role with full bhakti, with full prema, to be opponents of the relationship, the rasa, between Srimati Radhika and Shri Krishna. However, in the material world, the living entities are really offensive because of selfish desires, selfish, egotistical desires for gain and experiences that sometimes require transgressing of the universal law given by God. In the material world, people take pleasure by gratifying their senses. Materialistic person thinks, if I see beautiful things, if I smell beautiful things, if I taste beautiful things, if I hear beautiful things, if I possess beautiful things, I am happy. The mind of the materialist is agitated like that. But this is just an illusion, because all these beautiful things are temporary. And what looks beautiful now will look to the materialist ugly tomorrow. And this is an example of illusion and how their pleasure is derived from the senses. It's got nothing to do with reality. It's just an illusory perspective. So they're running constantly after this illusion, trying to think, if I get this, if I get that, I'll be happier than before. Or they may think, I want to maintain my status, I keep on getting nice things, and that way I keep maintaining my experience of happiness. But because it's based on the senses and on the ego, ahankar, when someone becomes a competitor to this person, immediately there is a disturbance, conflict, and sometimes even war. And sometimes people can go to the extent of murdering another person just to get what they want. So this is called tamagun. And our modern society is definitely the greatest state of tamagun. We can see constant wars are being fought um, one or another place in the world. So much crime is there in many countries in the world. So much criminal element is there. Sometimes, a lot of the time, the government itself is criminal. So much abuse of life is going on there. So much mismanagement of resources. There is information 1% of the population controls 90% of the wealth. And the rest of the people are treated like animals, practically. Yeah, so this is the state of our society present in Kali Yuga. People are given poisonous foods to eat. You know, in the markets, a lot of the things that we may see in the market is full of additives and things that are not good for the health of the person. But they're sold because of to preserve the longevity of the food on the shelves. They put these things there, and yeah, these things are having effect on humanity. So offensive behavior, in conclusion, has to be given up, and we have to cultivate bhakti. And cultivating bhakti means chanting Hare Krishna with great sincerity and attention. When we chant the Maha Mantra, we should feel connection with the Holy Name. We should definitely avoid all kinds of connection with telephones or any other disturbance to be able to taste the Holy Name. Otherwise, we always remain on the level of namabas, sometimes even level of namaparat. If we really want to taste bhakti, if we really want to learn or revive our original prema bhakti, we need to focus on the Holy Name. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama. Eva Kevalam Kalam Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva. I think I was telling you last time that I discovered, you know, personally a very nice way to concentrate while chanting. I might have shared it with you, I'm not sure, but even if I shared it, I'll say it again. Someone might have forgotten. Or someone might have not tried it. You can try it and see the effect of such method of chanting. So the method is the following. When the first mantra I say, I take a full breath and I fill my lungs with air. And of course, that saying the first mantra is, I'm saying it. If I'm taking full breath, I can't chant, of course, verbally, but I chant in my mind. And then the second, third, and fourth mantra, I chant them verbalizing while exhaling until I have no more air, of course. I mean, not to the point of suffocation. Someone may say 3 or 4 mantras, depending on your length of breath. So you can decide for yourself. And usually like 3 mantras is comfortable. Some people can do 4, or depends how fast you chant. You can vocalize 3 or 4 mantras while exhaling, and then again breathing and saying the mantra in your mind. So this control of the breath, it helps the consciousness to stay with the mantra. and it gives you a really nice focus on the holy name. Um, it really helps the mind not to go, because the mind, besides the hearing of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, is now given the task to be conscious of the breathing and executing this breathing process of, inhaling and exhaling. So the mind is given another service instead of just running around and thinking of other things. So this helps us. It's a form of pranayama. It's a controlled breath intake and inhale and exhale, and simultaneously controls the mind and helps us to really, while concentrating, relish the holy name. This is a help for those of us who are on the level of Namabhas, because Namabhas means sometimes the mind is conscious, sometimes it's not. So this very much helps you if you're on the level of Namabhas. If you're on the level of Sudanam, there is no need of such practice or methods, because the name is tasted with great pleasure and focus by the devotee. And the devotee penetrates the uppercut levels of the Lord and enters within them while chanting. So you can try it and tell me if you find it valuable. So, the last thing I would say, try to, it's very difficult in this age, but this is a must. We need to chant without other distractions, and especially stay away from the telephones. The telephone is something that takes our attention, and sometimes we think, no, I'm chanting, chanting, and I'm seeing some pictures of Krishna, devotees are putting on Facebook or something, but I tell you, the pleasure and the rasa that you develop with the holy name while concentrating on the holy name exclusively will never be compared to this superficial chanting of, letting the mind wander around. So let us try to focus on the holy name. Let us try to focus on Vaishnav Seva, Guru Seva, Vaishnav Seva. Let us honor Srila Prabhupada and carry him in our hearts, because Srila Prabhupada has given us the greatest gift, not only on earth, the greatest gift in the universe, and even the greatest gift of the spiritual world, which is Vraja Bhakti, Krishna Prema, by the mercy of Shri Shri Gauritai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Prabhu, who were the sun and the moon who rose on the horizon of Kali Yuga to dispel the darkness of this this crazy age. Thank you, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. If there are questions, please kindly ask.
Hare Krishna, Vraja Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful class and for your time. Although we know this is very early morning in the Bulgaria, and giving your association. Thank you. So we will take one question. Yeah, sorry, Prabhu. Yes.
I'm just saying it's my happiness to serve the Vaishnavas. It's a great opportunity. Anytime we get an opportunity to serve a Vaishnava, we should never say no. Because by serving the Vaishnavas, Krishna recognizes us. And yeah, that is a must. It's a wonderful opportunity. In fact, if a Vaishnava says, Prabhu, can you help me with something, or can you kindly do such and such seva, we should think the Lord is favoring,
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So any devotee have any question? We can take one question and then we can, yes, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I have one question. Like living in Europe, how you manage the prasad by going to the different travel? You know, there are Govindas. Sometimes we find devotees, sometimes we don't find devotees. So, how you manage the prasad during your travel in Europe and different part of world?
I if I travel from temple to temple, some preaching programs, devotees usually prepare something small for me, and that's how. But if you like, for like now when I'm staying here in this city, I prepare for myself um, something very simple. Um, if you, some of you go for work, you're like devotees are working, and sometimes in some places there is no temples. So what you can do is, Prabhupada, we know that he allowed devotees to, uh, to find some kind of offerable food, it's an extreme situation like that. You can, like, for example, you can purchase something from the market, look at the contents, of course, see that it's offerable. And if you don't have way to cook, maybe at home you can make some salad, some nuts, some cheese or milk or something like that. You can take, make like a sandwich, tomato, cheese, some little bread, something like that, simple. If it's 1 or 2 days, some nuts, of course, um, is for devotees who are even more kind of detached from eating mundane food. Yeah, some devotees can survive for 3, 4 days on nuts and water. It depends on the person. Depends on the organism. Some devotees can live with very little food. Um, so, I mean, sometimes, like, if I observe myself, sometimes if I have service, I forget to eat, and I don't feel hungry at all, if I have service. I just keep going, and even 1 or 2 days I can forget to eat, that that kind of, if I'm busy, so yeah, it depends on the devotee.
I like your point that when we are engaged in the service, then Krishna gives us energy and we are working beyond our materialistic perspective or bodily platform. This is some of the advanced devotee, not like me, but I have learned and heard from some very advanced devotee. They sleep only for 2, 4 hours. Although the medical science says that if you are not sleeping more than 5, 6 hours and eating not proper food, your health and things will deteriorate. But I have seen that Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj, and many advanced devotees, when they are working not on the bodily platform but a spiritual platform, they get immense energy. Thank you.
We can see Bhaktivinoda Thakur slept like 2.5 hours a day. I mean, that's what's given in the schedule. So these are very highly exalted devotees. We cannot imitate them to sleep 2 hours a day, but we can follow in their footsteps to minimize the bodily kind of dependence, too much on this body. At the same time, we should have some kind of sattva or regularity. We should eat at certain time, sleep at certain time. So, but in some extreme cases, we can, minimize even that, because Nothing will happen if we, like 2 3 days, we're in a country where, in a city where there is no govindas or no um, proper food offered on the market. We cannot cook somewhere in a hotel or something like that. We can just take some nuts, have some water, and yeah, just live for simple 2 3 days. Nothing will happen to us. For sure, we will not die. That's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Vraja Krishna Prabhu. We are running out of time and it's early morning for you. So we will close the session. I pay my obeisances to you, especially for wonderful class. And we look forward for the future as well. And about that thing, maybe today or tomorrow, we can make a video call and we can discuss about the itinerary for further development. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Thank you,
Pancha
Shankar.
Kalpatrubhya. Yes, bro. Pancha Kalpatrubhya. Kripa Sindhuve Evacha. पतितनां पावनेभ्यो श्री वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कुल बिहारी भगवान की जय। श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर ब्रज कृष्ण प्रभु की जय। Thank you, Prabhu.
Shri Gaur
Thank you.
Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Devi.